समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Hari Om, the 21st week of Vedānta Jñana Yajña. And what a topic, the self in three bodies. Is it possible? But those who have been listening to our talks, you will understand that we are not meaning three different bodies. We mean the three different distinctions of the same body. As promised earlier, we are going to speak only about the self. As we've already known that the perceiver, feeler, thinker, the perceiver, feeler and the thinker in us together with the mind and intellect is called the jīva. Today we will understand the distinction of these different places of the body that we have, and in them where is that jīva. But first we need to understand the bheda or distinction, the difference. There is a type of distinction which we call as vijatiya. Jati means the way you are born, vi means other kind. Vijati means there are some which are born of shveda, of moisture and heat. In biology it is called a minute, very typically one-celled reproductive unit capable of giving rise to a new individual without fusion. Lower plants and fungi and protozoas are like that. And the other type of birth that has happened is the andaja, out of eggs, which we all are. So the difference, vijatiya, between those who are born out of the basic shveda or heat, moisture, and of anda, the difference between the two. There is a distinct difference between the two. Then there is another kind of distinction that is called the difference between the same species. And this difference meaning one species which is born out of egg, which is a lion, one species which is born out of egg, which is a hen, and one weak. So vijatiya and sajatiya means of the same species difference. There is difference between a lion and us. And then comes svagata bheda, difference between your own self, own body. Means the head is not the hand is not the leg is not the stomach. There is so much of differences. These differences have to be understood. Why are we supposed to understand? Why should we understand this difference? Because only when distinction is seen, we call it as the world. And this difference gets us to the three bodies that we were speaking of. The Sharira Traya, Sthula Sharira, the gross body. The Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body. And the very absolutely causal body, which is called the cause of everything. Where are they? They are all in us. Sharira Traya. In the gross body, when you say the gross body, you say, yes, this is me, I am this body. But where are you? If I say, is the head only you? No, you say, no, head is me. If I say the hand is only you, no, the hand is also me. The elbow is also me. Finger, yes, it's me. And at the tip of the finger, the nail, oh, that is also me. That means you are in and through the whole thing. But then why to call this part only as head, this part as chest, this part as hand, this as finger and this as nail? Why? To have distinction. So that the variety of the world that we stay in, we can recognize every single different part of us distinctly. We had also spoken about the 3 states of awareness, avasthatraya. Remember, anybody? 1, the waking state, jagrata avastha, when we are awake, like we are right now. Then the dream state, where we are in a dream fashion. It may not necessarily be you are in sleep. Many a times when you are listening to me also, you are looking straight, but you are in your la la land, in the dream world. And then the 3rd stage, the deep sleep, the sushupti state. Now let us get them together, the 3 bodies and the 3 awareness states. But don't you think we are missing something? There is an interlink somewhere. We had spoken last time about the panchakosha, the covering, like the skaba inside, the sword inside the cover. Just like a telescope, when you see from outside, you see only one piece, but when you pull it out, number of pieces come out and then you see through it. In the same way, the gross body is covering the prana body. This is called Annamaya, the gross, the Pranamaya, the Manomaya, the Vijnanamaya. Pranamaya, the physiological movements that we have, the air that moves into our body, is called the Pranamaya. The Manomaya, mind, thoughts. Your body cannot go beyond your own limits, can it? At the most you can reach here. Yeah, if you are a Dhanurvedi, if you know how to extend your shoulder, you can reach further, but only to a limit. But your pranas, your air, your power of capacity of your air, it can make things move even further than your hands, isn't it? That means what? The body is the outer case, but the pranas which are inside pervade even the outer body. That means which is inside is actually more subtler than what is outside. The subtler pervades always the gross. So, Annamaya, gross. Inside it, Pranamaya, slightly more pervasive. Then Manomaya, we all know, sitting here we can be in America, sitting here we can be anywhere. Why? Because the mind travels faster than light. So that means the mind pervades not only the Annamaya but also the Pranamaya, and it can leave and reach so far away. Then comes, these 3 cover the Vijnanamaya course. What is the Vijnanamaya? Intellect. What is the difference in intellect? Intellect is that's what, my mind goes anywhere. No. Mind can only reach there which it is aware of, which it is knowing about, which it has heard, which it has seen, which it has read. But it cannot go anywhere where it is not knowing. Can it? But the intellect can go deep into our vasanas, into the deep-rooted bank of thoughts inside, and remove one thing which you have never heard of. Timpalappa Konamala Ganapati Timpalappa. Oh, what did I just say? Yes, I said something. To many of you, it must be some sounds coming together of my mouth. But those who are a little bit aware, they'll say there was an end with Ganapati. Means it must be some Ganapati of this place called Timpalappa. No, there is no such place as Timpalappa. But your mind caught on to Ganapati, but nothing else. This is the limitation of the mind. But the intellect gets this thought out from nowhere, and you suddenly say, oh, that's my brainchild, that's my thought, isn't it? So, intellect can pervade even into those places where you have never been, you have never thought of. And what to say about Anandamaya kosha? This is that place where you are absolutely in no contact with the body, no contact with the mind, no contact with the intellect. There is absolutely nothing there. Just when you wake up from a deep sleep, what does one say when he wakes up? Oh, I didn't even know when I slept. I didn't even know anything about time. But you also say one more thing. What is that? Oh, I enjoyed this sleep. So there are two things that happen in Anandamaya kosha. One, complete ignorance of everything else. And second, total enjoyment. When there is nothing, there was only joy, Anand. Now we are ready to understand the correlation of this distinction. The 5 kosha, the 3 states of awareness, and the 3 body. But sir, didn't you say that we are going to talk about the self today? Yes, I am talking about the self only. That jīva, when it is identified with this gross physical outside, it is called by a different name. It is called as Vishwa. Yes, the body, it is body only, but it is called Vishwa. And in the avastha, it is the waking avastha. Next is the swapna avastha. In the dream state, this physical body is no more there, but your mind is aware. That is called the sukshma body. The mind intellect works there. This covering is by the pranamaya, manomaya and vijnanamaya, and this state is called Taijasa. The physical was Vishwa, the gross was Vishwa, the Sukshma, the subtle was Taijasa. And now coming to that state which we just spoke about, the deep state, the state of Anandamaya, where there is 2 things, ignorance and Ananda, enjoyment. This is the causal state, the Karana, where it is the cause of everything. Therefore, it is called Prajna. Have a look at that picture, you will see a clearer idea that on the left hand side, look at this left hand side, there is some word called microcosm. That is our body. In the first stage, it is the sthula sharira or the jagrata avastha, the annamaya kosha. Go slightly up, it is the taijasa, the sukshma sharira, the swapna avastha or the pranamaya, manomaya and vijnanamaya. And finally, on the top, on the left, prajna, the karana sharira, the shushupti, deep sleep or the anandamaya. But if you watch carefully, next to it, there is another word, microcosm and macrocosm. Macrocosm will speak in the next time. But today, before we wind up, understand one thing. All these distinctions that we are speaking of, whether it be Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, Sthula Sharira or the Pancha body or the Avasthatraya, the self alone enables them to perform their individual activities. And in each of them, the self is called differently. But it is not different. It is just called differently. Just your arm is called an arm, elbow is called an elbow, wrist is called a wrist, finger is called finger, nail is called nail. They are all different, but they are ultimately who? It is your body. And this 3 states or the 3 body, the 3 jīva, all are superimposed. A new word. Superimposed. These are superimpositions on the self, the immutable consciousness through which a new word is coming next. Maya, and therefore the self alone is the support, substratum of the entire world of the 3 jīvas. The same jīva is called by 3 names. What are the 3 names? The Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna. A lot to take, but as the days go further, we are going to open this about you, about me, knowing about our own self. With this, we take a Madhya Viram, thanking all our Gurus, all Bhagavans and our